Okay. Wait. Okay, we're good. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the final night of Rawrdcore Rampage. Tonight we are doing Rawrdcore Retrospective, which is a thing I've been wanting to do for a while, where we listen to old songs that I have neglected to listen to or revisit in a while, and talk about like what was going on like in my life around the time that I was making that stuff, and I want to talk about it like musically, because I'm sure that there's a bunch of shit in my old songs that I don't even remember how I fucking made it, or there's other stuff that'll remind me of, like, I don't know, stuff that's interesting to talk about or observe. We're gonna start with Away We Go by Amaryllis. This one came out February of 2018, and a lot of shit was going on in my life at the time. So for context, for the majority of 2017, I had been living in a house in the middle of the woods in rural Maine, with a lesbian that I met on OkCupid, and like U-hauled with after knowing her for like 2 weeks, and I spent like nearly a year like living in that house, splitting rent with her, and I around the turn of the year, I got invited by somebody in Seattle to come out and play a show, and they offered to like pay for a plane ticket and shit, and I was like, wow, that's farther than I've ever traveled before in my entire life, so yeah, hell yeah, I want to do that. And so I flew out there. I met ravers, I met furries, types of people I never had access to IRL beforehand. Totally, completely fucking fell in love with it. Flew back to Maine after the show, to discover that my house had been rendered completely fucking unlivable by a freak ice storm. Our pipes froze and burst, so we had no plumbing. Our like heater was out of oil, and we couldn't get new oil delivered, so we were just freezing. One side of our house just didn't have insulation at all, and it gets cold as fuck in Maine in the wintertime. And we had no electricity because of the ice storm, so we were displaced, and we like stayed in like a friend's like hoarder mom's house, which was kind of fucked up for me because like my mom was also like a hoarder, so it was like very nostalgic in like a really kind of fucked up way, living there for a month. And then like during that time, like we decided to like drop our entire lives and just move to Seattle. And so yeah, 1 month after my first show in Seattle, I flew out there, and I've been living there ever since. And when I first got there, the person that took me in and allowed me to like live in their home while we were like finding a place of our own, was one of my favorite furry artists of all time. My favorite furry artist of all time. The person who's responsible for making me a furry in the first place. I'm not going to drop names, for obvious reasons, but like, so I made this album mostly at like their dining room table. So like suddenly, after like being hella isolated like in the middle of nowhere in Maine for like 23 years of my life, I am suddenly inside like the kitchen of my like favorite furry artist of all time, and I'm making this album, and like that's kind of where my mind was at when I was doing it. People familiar with Lungverse probably know that this album holds a lot of like canonical plot relevance. People unfamiliar with Lungverse probably have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. But I don't know, maybe we can get into that more later. For right now, I'm gonna try and blast through 2 albums in this one stream, but I want to keep it around 2 to 2.5 hours. I don't want to go super long. So, well, actually, I guess it's like it's kind of necessary to explain the plot shit. Okay, so Amaryllis is a cat. Um, she's been my alias for doing sort of like experimental type dance music, I guess. Like I've always tried to like do weird stuff with Amaryllis that I can't really fit into like a definition of like another genre or whatever. This is like OG Amaryllis stuff was like a lot less sample heavy. This stuff is a bit more plunderphonic, which is just a fancy word for sample heavy. The whole shtick here is that or I guess her name is Hushy now, but the yellow dog, you know the one, she's up here. She once a month during the night of the new moon would like her body would be inhabited by a different creature whose name is Bleak Fortune, and Yellow Dog and Orange Cat used to date, but then they are broken up for a long time but still living together. But Orange Cat is dating Bleak Fortune, only gets to see her partner once a month when the new moon is happening. So she's, you know, like she wants to spend more time with like this creature that she loves but doesn't get to see very much. And like that, you know, Yellow Dog has no awareness whatsoever that this creature even exists. So Amaryllis starts to dabble in like some black magic that she like found on Google to try and stop the phase of the moon from changing so that the new moon will freeze where it is and how it is, and like she'll be able to spend more time with her beloved. This obviously has catastrophic consequences for like the entire rest of the world, which Amaryllis is far too selfish to foresee. But anyway, this album is supposed to be representative of like her headspace during a time when she was like taking the steps necessary to learn that magic and to commit to doing this like completely heinous selfish action. And yeah, what I'm gonna do is like play a track. After the track or during the track, I'll maybe pause and talk about stuff that's going on in the track, and then between tracks I can maybe answer a question or two if you have them. I'm gonna get it rolling. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to take off my beret to put my headphones on. But let's go. Oh, also, this album, the track list is a poem that I wrote, which I always thought was clever and cute because I never did that on anything else. Yeah. Away we go, as algae must grow, alchemical auroras, accent fallen snow. Abhorrent and aching, all is exposed, ambition unbridled, away we now glow. Wow, that's shit right here. I went to school to get an English degree for 4 years, and this is the bullshit that I did with that experience and that knowledge. Okay, let's go. Yeah, that intro track is pretty fun. I completely forgot that it existed. I heard Caro Caro Bonito in there, I think. And I also heard Hatsune Miku Smash Mouth All-Star, which I just sampled again on the fucking album that I released literally yesterday. I forgot that I had ever even used it the first time. Alright, second track. Yeah, I remember this song being extremely new when I played my first ever Seattle show. It was the first song on this album that I completed. Um, and it went over huge, and like I remember being really fucking stoked. I experienced a lot of endorphins on that one. Um, yeah, Samantha, I am I am really into my own music because it's like it's everything that I have. It's like I've been doing this shit nonstop, like since January 2014. This is like the only. This is like my diary. My discography is my diary. It's like every time I have an emotion, like I have to process it by making music. Otherwise, I won't be able to make sense of it later, and it'll bottle up and kill me. So yeah, like this stuff is a huge piece of me, and I really appreciate y'all for appreciating it. That sample in the beginning, or all throughout this, it's like away we go. It's from the first track of one of my favorite albums ever, which is called "Clap Your Hands Say Yeah" by Clap Your Hands Say Yeah. Um, and when I was 16, it was like the first like indie music I ever heard, and it fucking rules. The lead singer sounds like he's shit faced drunk for the whole album. It's sick. I love it. All right, next track. This is one of those ones that's in like, you know, like a time signature. How many songs have I made? Well over 700 at this point, I think. Last time I counted was years ago, and I came out with like 600 something. Oh shit. I forgot about this synth. That's kind of cool. Yeah. Glow stick. Very observant. This is not the original album art. I drew the original album art and then decided I didn't like it. So then I replaced it with a different drawing I did that I liked better. But there were a solid couple of months to a year or something where the album art was completely different. The other Amaryllis album that we're hopefully going to get to listening tonight also has retconned album art. What happened to the lesbian off of OK Cupid? That's a whole nother can of worms. I don't think we're gonna get into it tonight, though. All right, track 4. Oh yeah, this one. I'm pretty sure I still really like this one. We'll see. Oh shit. I forgot Cher was in this one. Wow. Okay. Yeah. That one had a lot more shit going on than I remember. I do still like that one. It's like texturally interesting in a lot of places, and it has like a major key change in the middle, which is like something I fucking never do. So that was neat. Or maybe I do that. I don't fucking know. I don't know anything about keys, bro. All right, there are questions here. I see a lot of like, will Longverse return? Will you continue Longverse? Shit like that. Like, I ask myself that question every fucking day. Ideally, I'd really like to continue it. The last time I drew a panel for it was like a couple months ago. Um, like I've had the whole plot, like and timeline and stuff mapped out for fucking ever, but like I don't know. It's like it's such a gargantuan mountain of a project. I don't know. I'd really like to do more stuff with like plot and writing and stuff because like that stuff's really really cool. I was going to do, yeah, I don't know. What happened to Yo-Yo Bingo? Are we talking like canonically or like just like IRL wise? Because like canonically, there's a little too much to get into with that question, but IRL, nothing happened to Yo-Yo Bingo. Yo-Yo Bingo still exists. The last time I put out a Yo-Yo album was like fuck, like a year ago or something. I put out Doll, and Doll was a great time. A great time, like, to make, a kind of a harsh time to exist. um, how did Amaryllis come to be? Did I design her? Yeah, actually, the OCs, the like personas OCs of mine that like I designed completely by myself were like 4/Hushy, Amaryllis, and then Minx Max. And I guess Bleak Fortune, if that counts, but it's just a palette swap of 4. A lot of my other characters started out as adoptables, and then like I kind of fleshed them out and like made changes to them and stuff. But she came to be because I was started making music that was weird and like didn't sound like the Forlung breakcore sound. And like I didn't want to call it Forlung. So I made a new animal for it and like created sort of a story around the relationship that those two animals have. And then like it all kind of spiraled out of control from there. And thus Longverse. But all right, let's go to the next one. Okay. There's that fucking sample of that kid speaking Brazilian Portuguese that I've used 800 times in 800 fucking songs. That one also had more going on than I anticipated it would. This like really grindy synth line that's throughout it, like I could tell is definitely pretty inspired by like an old Renard track. I can't remember specifically which one. One of the noise ones that happened before download was an alias, maybe off of Broken Core or Relapse, I don't know, but you might know the one that I'm thinking of. But yeah, that's cool. I dig that still. There's like a pleasant atmosphere to that one. Oh, yeah, real quick. Yes, the sample of that kid singing in Portuguese is from it's just some fucking track that I found on SoundCloud forever ago. Um, I used to know what the translation was. I don't know anymore. Oh, somebody in the chat knows what it says though. Yeah, so William, thank you. Anyway, let's go. Yeah, that was cool. A lot more jaunty and jolly. That was kind of tight. I love that. That was like, I can feel what I was feeling back then. That's really cute. Um, Definitely some unbridled joy there and excitement to be in a new place in a new world, experiencing new things with new people. Aw, man, that's so sweet. I like that a lot. What's going on? All right, let's move forward. Oh, it's this one. I remember feeling like this one's a little bit too long. And not mixed very well in some parts. It's not as bad as I remember it being, honestly. It's fine, so far at least. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it wasn't nearly as bad as I remember it being. It's kind of cluttered in a lot of it, but it's like, when's the last time I made a song that wasn't cluttered? Yeah, okay. We're like moving right along here. We're like getting into the second half of the album. I remember this one, this next one, I remember being proud of it just because it's strange. It's different than a lot of other shit that I've done, and I'm excited to get back in touch with it. I'm gonna be a mime or a clown for Halloween. Maybe. I don't know. I might just be a scene girl. I might just be myself. Wow, holy guacamole. That one's really fun. Yeah, I still really like that one too. It's super weird. Also, I'm pretty sure like outside of maybe some of the percussion, there like isn't any samples in that one. It's like just all original composition. Which was supposed to like initially be my focus with Amaryllis. I intended for original composition to like outshine whatever other aspects of like music making like with Amaryllis in the first place. I got kind of like, yeah, I integrated like more elements of like plunderphonics and stuff like later on with her, but like all of the older stuff like Glass Forehead and stuff like that is all just original composition. I guess with Amaryllis I'm going in reverse chronological order, except I'm not doing Cat's Cradle. Not because I dislike Cat's Cradle, but because I was like gaining a massive amount of psychic damage during the time I was making Cat's Cradle. So like we might save Cat's Cradle for like whenever I do one of these streams, but for like yo-yo music maybe after I've done some more processing. But who knows? Like if the pandemic ends, do I ever plan on doing live? Yeah, hell yeah, I want to go back to playing shows. I was playing shows pretty consistently for like a while, like the first 6 months after I moved to Seattle, and then like Cataclysm happened and I wasn't getting booked anymore, but then like it rolled around to this year and the whole world experienced Cataclysm well after I did. So I was supposed to play a Renegade at SakuraCon 2020 before it got canceled. That was going to be my first live show, like IRL live show in over a year, and I was really stoked for it, but it didn't work out that way because of COVID world, and what can you do, but whatever. All right, yeah, let's keep it rolling. Oh shit. Yeah, this one, huh? I remember this one being pretty emo. Those wiggly sine whistles. Oh, fuck. Oh my god, I forgot about this part. Jesus. God, that synth is so fucking huge and meaty. I think I used that one on some track on Gay Aunt Jane's Static Caravan of Psychosomatic Crisis? I don't know. I think I stole it off of Looperman or something. Oh, it's so fucking fat and disgusting. I love it. Yeah, I love that one. It's super emo, and then it's like, and then it like burps at you really loud. It like gets you all vulnerable, and then it's like, that's so fucked up. That one completely dropped out of my brain for a while. I'm really glad to be listening to this again. This one's the last one. There is a bonus track on this album, which is a remix of Royals by Lorde, which hits like a truck, and I like still know for a fact that I really like it. But Lorde herself sent a lawyer to tell SoundCloud to remove this song from SoundCloud, and I got a copyright strike for it. So I'm not gonna play it on stream because I don't want Lorde to be mad at me. But we'll play the last track. I'm pretty sure this last track, the whole core melody is stolen from Rubble Bucket, which, if you have never listened to Rubble Bucket, great band, highly recommend checking them out. Their albums Omega La La and Survival Sounds are both fucking badass. Oh yeah, okay. I stole the melody for most of this song, recreated it by ear as a cover of Rubble Bucket's song called Down in the Yards, which I also sampled on The Works by Yo-Yo Bingo. Not the song, but the album. I hope that's followable. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I that's actually something that I do a lot. Just as practice mostly is like I'll take songs that I really love, and I'll listen to them, and then I'll try to recreate like the melody, like the composition by ear, and that's like a really good way to like train your ear as far as like pitch and stuff is concerned. Um, but yeah, with that one, I had a lot of fun with it, and it like kind of spiraled out of control into like a completely new thing, sort of. That was like separate enough from the original composition that I was like, oh, okay, like I've added all kinds of like fucked up counterpoint and stuff to this now, like so it's like kind of a new thing, and like it the vibe is totally different from like the original version. So I'm still satisfied with that. I still like that a lot. But yeah, if you're like into making music, especially like in a DAW, like FL Studio or something, and you're working with MIDI, highly recommend listening to songs that you really like and then trying to recreate the individual pieces by ear. Like even if you're just using like some chiptune synth or something really that sounds really basic, just knowing like trying to figure out the notes, like constructing the main melody and then like listening to the bass and making the bass underneath it and listening to the chords and making the chords or whatever. Like it's super helpful. Like really has helped me a lot with like composition and understanding how that shit works in a sort of fluid way that doesn't involve like numbers or bullshit like that, because like fuck numbers, who has time for numbers? I certainly don't. But that caps off Away We Go. We're making good time. We're like 10 minutes early to where I thought we would be at this point, so that's pretty dope. The next one we're gonna do is Ouro Boro Boom Bang, which came sometime before. It came March 11th, 2017. This was before I had U-hauled into that house. This album came out when I was still in university. University for me, I was only there for a year, and then I couldn't afford to go anymore, and also stopped feeling the need to go. But like, for me, university was like, I was one of the like 3 trans women on campus. For a long while, like, I was very sort of like, I eventually kind of found a group of like queer friends that I like meshed with all right, but for most of my like community college and university experience, I was very isolated, just sitting in my room learning how to make breakcore and then making lots of breakcore. And this was kind of on the tail end of that experience, where I was like working in the music room, the like recording room in the music building for my work study job, where I was like signing out like audio equipment to like people who wanted to borrow it and stuff. But I had like night shifts, so like barely anybody ever wanted to use audio equipment between the hours of like, you know, fucking like 5 p.m. and 10 p.m. So like most of the time I was just sitting in there fucking off making this album and making Static Electron, and eventually making shit, what's the name of that fucking Yo-Yo album? The one that's really sad and harrowing. Night Mana, that's the one. I made that one also in that setting. So I was also like teacher's pet. Like there were like maybe 11 music majors. The music department was hella fucking small. But I was super hardcore teacher's pet, and my professor, Steve Pane, is one of the dopest motherfuckers alive. I miss him to death. He fucking loved me. He thought I was really cool. I thought he was really cool. He's like a like classically trained concert pianist who like would look at my shit and be like, this is really good. And that was like really affirming for me at the time, because like being like a trans woman and being like, I don't know, a freakazoid, and you know, like just sort of existing as like an outlier in all situations, like it was cool to have like an academically acclaimed individual like tell me that like my music was worth something and that it was good, because that was just the environment I was in at the time, and that was the validation that I was needing. But yeah, for every single fucking project I would do an original composition, and like there were a couple of them that I had to convert to sheet notation, which I fucking hated. Fuck sheet notation. Never want to do that shit again. But I did it. If you know 110% Every Day Forever, the song Trap Trap Trap, I created, like, I took that song and I arranged it to play on one piano with two hands, and that took literally like an entire semester for me to do, and it came out the composition came out good. And then when he played it to like the rest of the music department, he like fucked it up, and I was like crushed. But it's okay. Anyway, that's my university story. But in the middle of all that, I was making this album, Ouro Boro Boom Bang. Yeah, let's check it out. God, this one's so weird. I feel good about it though. Yeah, you can definitely feel how like school-brained my music kind of was getting at this time. Like you can, it's like the sort of neoclassical influence is definitely there. I was listening to like a lot of Chopin, and like you can. It sounds there at times. It sounds like school, to me at least. And then at other times, it's just deep, grungy, synthy wiggle, and I appreciate it and I like it. I'm gonna go pee real quick. I know I do this like every stream, but I've got to go pee real quick. I'm leaving my window open and my mic on, so if you hear anything weird, tell me about it like after I get back.
Fuck the police.
Okay. My wife is cooking vegan chicken nuggets. And I'm stoked. Okay, let's go to the next one. This one has a yo-yo feature. That's nice how it kind of just ends, like, it just drops the fuck off. It's so clear to me, like, how in love with, like, composition I was at the time. Like, I was really stoked on composing. It's like, I feel like I've since shifted focus pretty hard, into, like, I don't know, there's lots of different, like, I'll go through cycles where it's like I'll focus on composition, or I'll focus on atmosphere, I'll focus on texture, I'll focus on timbre, focus on whatever. But, like, I can tell, like, the academia, like, the academic environment is, like, very evident in this one. And it's like, it's interesting because it's like obviously never caught any of that when I was making it, because I was, like, fully in the music. Like, I had heard all of it so many times by the time it came out, just like the same that I do with all my albums. I listen to it to death before it comes out because I'm, like, making it. It's impossible not to. But, like, I feel like I'm hearing it again from a third person's perspective for kind of the first time, and it's like, it's really interesting to feel how much school is in it. Oh, this one, 150. This one was originally on a completely different album. Don't look at this, by the way, that's nothing. This one was on this super fucking... Oh, these are all my secret albums, by the way. You can't see any of these on my Bandcamp page unless you are
A part of, Forlung Money Club.
But this one right here, Piss. Fast Beat Industrial Silly Step. Fucking ancient album. This is the very first album cover to ever have an actual picture of my persona on it. This is like the oldest album art of For / Hushy or whatever. This song existed right here, Forlung song number 150, because it was the 150th song that I had ever made. This fucking album is from 2015. I had been making music for, like, almost 2 years, and, like, my, like, number 150 is right here, and I liked it so much that later on, many years later, in Ouro Boro Boom Bang, I took the old project file and I fucked with it and I made it better, and it became this. Yeah, that's that. I think that was one of the first songs I ever did in 3/4 time. And I still think it's great. I love Mellotron flute, that, like, really distinct sort of flute sound that's in that, is made with an instrument called a mellotron, which was a, like, sort of console keyboard instrument that would move every time you push down a key. It would move a magnetic tape with a recording of the flute over, like, a magnetic tape reader apparatus of some kind, and it would, like, play the sound actively as you're pushing the key through that, which is, like, fucking ridiculous, like, if you think about it, I guess. Or maybe it's not, I don't know. I'm not a an engineer. But I've always been really in love with that instrument, and the flute sound that is a part of that machine is very iconic, and I love it a lot. There are a lot of like old like Latfuck's Mayhem stuff has a lot of mellotron flute in it, and I think that's probably where I first heard the mellotron flute. All right, track 4. This one's a fucking romp. I know this one. Yes! Holy shit! Ah! I love this synth! Yeah, that one was so fun. That's one of the ones that is impossible to mix into a DJ set, not only because it's a fucking waltz, but also because it changes BPM like 4 fucking times. I love that one. I love Ouro Boom Bang. I forgot how fucking hard that slaps. Everybody in the chat saying that that synth sounds like a cat. That's because it's literally a plugin called Meowsynth. And it looks like this. It's literally, there's a cat here, and every time you hit a note, it like opens and closes its mouth, and you can adjust the qualities of its cat sound. Like, that's straight up, this is the fucking instrument that I used to make that, and that's why it sounds like a cat. Yeah, fun fucking fact. Yeah, let's go. This one. I remember this one being a tad more, the atmosphere being a little more serious than the previous. We'll check it out. Goo. I want 7 vegan chicken nuggets. Thank you so much. You're so beautiful. I love you. My fucking face hurts from smiling too much. I'm having a really good time. I'm still really proud of that one too. I thought that like when I was gonna do this shit, like this Rawrdcore retrospective shit, and like listen to my old music or whatever, I thought I was gonna like be like cringing a lot more at myself. But now I'm doing it, and I am actually like, oh shit, like I was doing smarter shit than I thought. Like there's some shit in that song in particular that like I don't even know like how I would recreate that today. But I like the way it sounds. As far as like composition goes and stuff too, like that was really nice. I was on some shit back then, and I guess like I'm still proud of that. I like it a lot. I didn't realize how affirming of an experience this would be this evening. So, Cool. I love you guys. I'm so stoked to be having a good time with y'all. Ah, shit. These vocal chops. They're from the OP for the anime Princess Jellyfish, which turned me into a tranny in like 2013 or whatever. Oh, Christ. Oh, jeez. Oh, God. This corny as fuck piano shit. I was having a good time. That was not my best transition there. Yeah, okay. I have some qualms with that one, I suppose. Or at least, at the very least, I would do it differently nowadays. But nowadays, I wouldn't make this album, I guess. That's kind of the whole point. So, you know, whatever. That is what it is. I think it's cool in some parts, for sure. The beginning is my favorite. The piano bit is yeah, it's complicated and it's rowdy and it's rambunctious and it's a lot of fun. But there's some bits in it that I don't think are necessary. Anyway. Oh, yeah. Okay, this is the last one on this album, and I still think that this one is dope as fuck. This is still one of my big faves. It samples the Pavement cover, or it samples I think the Nickel Creek cover of the Pavement song "Bitter Stranger," which if you haven't listened to Nickel Creek and you are, if you want to cry to some bluegrass sometime, I recommend listening to Nickel Creek. Their album "This Side" when I was a kid was like something my parents played in the car all the time, and it was like the only music of theirs that didn't make me want to jump out a window. Yeah. Yeah. I fucking love that one. I wish I still had the original project file for that one, but it's long fucking gone by now. I would remaster that one in a heartbeat. That one whips. I'm like way fucking ahead of schedule here. I guess I'll take some questions. Do you guys have questions to ask me about stuff? Face on Nick Jr. turns you gay? Frankly, I'm impressed. Face is not really my type. How did I come up with Amaryllis originally? I doodled a picture of her on like an index card when I was sitting at my desk in my super fucking tiny bedroom at my mom's house one summer. I guess that was back before Glass Forehead. So at the very least, August 2016, probably a month or so before that, because I probably made all this music in the span of a month. We'll listen to this album at some point, but probably not tonight. We'll do a part 2 for Amaryllis, because there are like 2 more Amaryllis albums, and then there's Cat's Cradle. We'll do Calliopes and Glass Forehead another time. Where did the name Hushy come from? That's a really good question. The name Hushy came from Metal Gear Solid 5 porn parody where the character Quiet from Metal Gear Solid 5 is called Hushy. Uh, and I thought that was very funny. And then, like, it was in my head for a couple of days after that. And then I was like, oh, it's actually, like, separated from that context, it's actually an extremely cute name. And then it was my name after that. What DAW do I use? I use FL Studio, Gia. Look it up sometime. It does literally everything that every other DAW can do. All DAWs are the fucking same. You just have to click different buttons to get to different places. Is Scene Girl Hushy like an alternate personality, or did she just change all in all? I'd say that old Hushy, like old 4, like the character, is not like, I'd say scene 4 is like like I haven't decided if she's like an early timeline variation or like a late timeline variation, but like regular 4 exists in a certain period of time, like old school classic 4, and then new 4, new Hushy, scene Hushy exists at some different point in time. I'll smooth out the details on that eventually. Do I intend on making retrospectives for every alias? I would really like to. I think that is my long-term goal. I'll maybe want to start doing shit like this like every other weekend or something like that. Let's see. If I made Lungverse, it would still be called Lungverse. If I continued from the point that I left off, then I would call it Lungverse. If I started like a new thing or like a spinoff or something, I'd probably call it something else, because like Lungverse is like not that doesn't pertain to my like my I guess branding, quote unquote. I hate using words like that, but what was Dalmatrix or .DuPont about? Dalmatrix or .DuPont was about, and continues to be about, just me, just different me. Me, but like a weird neurotic art hoe that like loves puppets and clowns and being like an emo mime and like skulking around and like being very like long and frail and like raily and like, you know, lurking and being sort of a she was kind of my emo phase before I started my scene phase, I guess, but she was kind of an emo phase, not in the classical sense, but in like in the sense of intention. When I was doing dot stuff, I was doing like a lot of like ketamine and figuring some stuff out about myself. I was also, well, that was the later bit of dot, I guess. The earlier bits of dot were just like, I was just really sick of carrying around 4, or my old persona, who is now my current persona again. I was sick of carrying her around as like a symbol of like, oh, this is a thing that like hundreds of people on the internet like have a problem with. It's like a symbol of disappointment to them or something, or whatever. And I didn't want to carry that with me. So I tried on dot for a while, and like I really like dot. Dot isn't really going anywhere. She still exists, but like I'm comfortable once again, finally like being Hushy again and being like having the yellow dog as my persona, and I feel good about that. It's like she's always been me, like, you know, it's all, yeah. Let's see. I have not heard of beatbox or jumbox. Which synths do I like messing around with the most? Well, if we're talking software synthesizers, I pretty much exclusively use Serum or 3xOSC, which is a native program to FL Studio. At this point in time, those are like the only 2 software synthesizers that I really use. Hardware-wise, I like to play with a lot of stuff. I have my Behringer TD3 here, which is great for making like really classic like acid bass lines. And I love to run it through like all my effect pedals and stuff. This is my modular synth that I can do a lot of really wacky stuff with. I haven't played with this in a minute, mostly because like I had a long phase of focusing on recording like sounds from synths and stuff, and then like that was when I was posting a lot of videos on Twitter of me playing with synths and stuff, and then I sort of more recently over the past month or two switched to a focus on production, and I've been a lot more like on the computer, like actually putting the songs together and stuff. I am a huge fan of this little guy right here, the Electron Model Cycles, really cool little like FM synthesizer groovebox thing. Very, very sweet. This is my Korg EA1, another old sort of acid machine that you can get some really cool stuff out of. This thing's almost as old as I am. I think this little baby came out in like 1997 or 1999 or some shit like that. I don't know. But that's synths. Maybe I can make another video maybe sometime, or a live stream, just where I like hold up synthesizers to the camera and be like, this is my synthesizer and I love it. Oh, but my favorite one of all time is obviously this one, the Crittering Guitari Pocket Piano. It's like the first synthesizer I ever had. It's super portable and compact. It's been my best friend forever, and I like to bring it to parties and get really fucked up and then like do some shit, and it feels good. It makes me happy. This little box feels like another one of my limbs sometimes. Anyway, that's synthesizers. Let's see, what else is going on? Ever play any brass instruments? Funny you should ask, because I played trumpet in the 6th and 7th grade. Then I hated trumpet. And I stopped playing it. And then when I was in high school, I got really into ska music and got really disappointed in myself for quitting trumpet. Yeah, was it hard getting into music at first, finding what I wanted to produce? Not particularly. I think, like, you know, growing up, I was really just fucking nuts about like Lapfox tracks, I guess, and like the first time I ever heard like of an almond break, I basically shat myself. I was like, how can a person play drums that fast? I didn't understand that you use a computer to make that type of music. Like, I had no concept of that, and so I was obsessed from that point forward. And so as soon as I was like 19 and like I was given like a cracked copy of FL Studio 10. I have a legal copy now, but back then I got the crack of FL Studio 10 and like immediately was sort of like, okay, like I fucked around and like made some dumbass, like I made like 4 really stupid rap albums. But then as soon as I started transitioning, I got prescribed HRT and Adderall around the same time, so my life changed significantly very quickly after both of those medications started being in my body every day. And I remembered that I love breakcore, and so I started trying to make breakcore and kind of missed the mark pretty heavy for a while if you're going by classical definitions of what breakcore is, because I didn't actually know what a drum break was. So I was, you know, it's that's like when Salute came out, which if you know like my really old shit, like, you know about Salute. But yeah, I became obsessed with making music really hard at 19 and like just didn't stop. It became like my primary coping mechanism. It became my primary recreational activity. When I like went back to college, like at my first semester coming out as trans, like I went back to college and I didn't bring any of my video games or any of the shit that I like could use to distract myself. I was just like, I'm just gonna bring my laptop and FL Studio, and every time that I want to do something for fun, I'm gonna make music. And I did that, and I got pretty good at it pretty fast because of that. I hid everything else fun for myself and made music the thing that was fun for me to do. Let's see, what do we got? What happened to my podcast? I stopped doing it. I got lazy. I guess this is, you know, the sort of replacement for that is like me being here talking about shit. This is like a podcast, I suppose. But I don't think I'll ever go back to just straight up doing a podcast. The old episodes of my podcast are still on SoundCloud, maybe, I guess, and I don't remember what any of them say. I don't remember what it said in fucking any of them, so, you know, listen at your own risk. Not that there's anything bad in, probably, but I don't know. Is the Nifty Bundle worth it? Yes, the Nifty Bundle is absolutely fucking worth it. You will find absolutely no, like, more inexpensive and convenient entry into the world of modular synthesis. 110% the Nifty Bundle is absolutely fucking worth it. I had a small, like, just having the power supply and, like, clock and shit, like, all built into the case, like, you don't have to buy separate modules for them, like, at the price point that it's at, like, it's phenomenal, and you can, like, you can do a lot with this. My AC adapter for it, like, stopped working, like, very sort of, you know, like 2 months after buying it or whatever, and I just, like, sent them an email and was like, hey, my adapter's not working anymore, and they just sent me a new one for free, and it was great. Yeah. Let's see. Who's my favorite Twitter artist? My favorite Twitter artist is definitely, hands down, without a doubt, if we're talking like visual artist, Puppy Breath is my favorite artist, hands down. All right, is there anything else that anybody else wants to know? This is your chance. This is your chance to ask me anything. What is the album I'm proudest of to this day and why? That's a really tough question. I don't know if I can even answer that question. It changes every time I put an album out a lot of the time. I think right now I'm still, as far as stuff that's been released right now, I'd say Live from the Bottom, sound-wise, is my favorite, and I'm the most proud of it just because it's so, there's a lot of emotion in it, and it was very real for me, and really like symbolic of a lot of like hard processing, and like I can feel that like when I revisit it, and like it shows me, it lets me understand like how much progress I've made as a person, and so, you know, all that sort of bullshit. And technical wise, I'd say Cage of Consumptive Compulsion right now is my favorite, just because I made most of the sounds on it by hand, and it's like one of the first things I've ever really done that with. It's like not only is all the composition original, but like the sounds themselves, the timbres are like straight up created like from thin air with these machines, like, and like I'm really proud of it because of that. It took me a lot longer. Like there are, of course, like there's some sample percussion, there are some vocal samples, but other than that, it's like it's all me and touching machines, and I like feel really good about it for that. The one that I'm about to be the proudest of is this one, which isn't out yet. Simulacrum. This one is like it is also like it's going to be like 90%, 95% like original sounds that like are handmade by me. Like everything in this is from me. Like no, like, oh fuck yeah, dude, yes, thank you, I love you too. I got chicken nuggets. I love my wife. All right. Anyway, this one, Simulacrum, is gonna be the best one, to me. So you'll hear that when it comes out. um, let's see. What's my social security number? Oh, it's 1-800 420-69, 911 1312. Sarrazin Smile based on specific feelings. We'll get to that when I do some yo-yo retrospective sometime. Let's see. Anything I ask will just be weird, awkward, probably unwanted flirting. That's fine. Have I listened to Mystery Skulls? No, I have not listened to Mystery Skulls. I'm vaguely aware of the fact that Mystery Skulls exists. That's it. My fave song and least favorite song I've made? I don't think I can answer that. I think my favorite song that I've made as of now is probably You're Changing Me from Fall. But not the original version, the remastered version that is on the Blur Shit, this compilation right here. That's probably the one that I am like the most stoked about still to this day. My least favorite song, I'm not going to be able to tell you that. I couldn't even begin. What's my most listened to song? Or song that blew up? Puppy fucking Lasagna. Puppy Lasagna is hands down the most listened to song I've ever made. I think it got like fucking, I don't know, like 80,000 plays on SoundCloud or some shit. It has like some absurd number of plays on YouTube. Just people fucking fighting to the death in the comments. It's fucking outrageous. The thing about Puppy fucking Lasagna, 200,000 fucking views on YouTube and like billions of fucking TikToks using the song. Like, Puppy Lasagna is a shit show, but I love this song to death because this song, like, there's all kinds of speculation like as to what this song is about, and I want to set the record fucking straight real quick because there's so many people on the internet talking about how Puppy Lasagna is a song about like eating a dog's pussy or whatever, like some crazy shit, or like it is symbolic of some sort of sexual abuse or something. This fucking song I made it 2 years ago to impress the creature that is now my wife, who is in the next room making a fursuit right now. I literally, like, I had met this person and started hanging out with them, or rather, when I was living in the house that I mentioned, like, was the house of like my favorite furry artist that I just moved to Seattle and was living in or living on their couch. My wife, who I didn't know at all at the time, was living there. And like we didn't say a word to each other the whole 3 weeks that I was living there, aside from one time when I was watching All Dogs Go to Heaven. Like, it came down the stairs and was like, "Oh, Charlie's so hot," and I like turned around and I was like, "Yeah, he is." And that was all we fucking said to each other for like 6 months until we started hanging out. But like when we started hanging out, I wanted to do something special for it. I wanted to let it know that I liked it. So I was like, what are the things that I know this person likes? Zaboomafoo, the children's television show Zaboomafoo, Doja Cat, and Haken and Zaga, a classic Gabber song. And so I was like, okay, like, and we had been sending like Telegram voice messages to each other, where we were just fucking around and we were singing "Woof Woof, Bark Bark, Puppy Lasagna" to the tune of Haken and Zaga, and so I downloaded those audio messages to my computer and I sampled them in the song, as kind of like a, you know, a cute little thing, and I like made the song to that tune and stuff and put it out, and it blew up super fucking huge. But this was already post call out, so like there was already a huge crowd of people who were really upset with me for being whatever, and like, and so they started assigning all these meanings to it that they were just like speculating about, and they were like, oh, this is about like abusing an animal or a child or what the fuck ever, and like, and it's absurd to me. Like, this song is still, it will always have an extremely special place in my heart, like, because it basically kicked off the healthiest and most fulfilling relationship I've ever had in my life. Like, it, without this song, like, I would not be nearly as like happy and like mentally stable probably as I am today. And not to say that I'm mentally stable, but definitely I am a lot more than I used to be. But yeah, it's like, that's this song, Puppy Lasagna, that's the one. If you haven't heard it, I'm shocked that you're even here. But it's definitely the biggest deal song that I've ever done. Let's see. I gotta catch up with the chat. I'm gonna eat some nugs. Have I ever considered getting a fursuit? I mean, I would like to have a fursuit. I'll probably not have one ever, just because they're outrageously expensive, unless my like wife, out of the kindness of its own heart, decided to make me a fursuit, because it's making itself a fursuit right now. But so I don't know, if I had to choose what character I would get it of, I would want it to be of four, of course, of Hushy. Any new merch in the future? God, I don't fucking know. Hopefully. I wanted to do a special thing where I hand decorated a bunch of these like CD cases, and I like wanted to burn a CD to each of them, where like a shitload, like 20 something like songs of mine that like I haven't been able to release for whatever reason, like secret rare tracks, and I want to like make it a super limited run of like these 6 CDs, and then I want to like auction them off. So that's kind of a, yeah, and I was gonna include a bunch of like cool little bonus like shits with them. Like, I was gonna make some candy and like maybe some stickers, or like, you know, rip a page out of my diary or what the fuck ever, and like, you know, mail it to you. Like, I don't know. Have I ever heard of black dresses? Well, let me tell you a story about black dresses. Back in the day, I used to talk to Debbie quite a bit. She doesn't talk to me anymore. I completely understand why. I don't hold that against her at all. But for the record, she does no longer associate with me. So if, you know, anybody who would be angry about that kind of thing is watching, just know that, you know, she has separated herself from me. But there's a song on one of the Black Dresses albums called My Heart Beats Out of Time, I'm pretty sure. And the thing about that song is that originally that was a collab between me and Black Dresses, but then I got called out, so the original version never saw the light of day, and they took out all of my work and made it, frankly, a lot more sort of boring. Like, I don't want to talk the song, because like obviously Black Dresses are artists, and they create art of worth, and like I fully endorse, like, you know, like listening to Black Dresses and enjoying Black Dresses. But I just personally, that song in particular, I think was like 800 times sicker, like like, you know, before everything, and like, so I, you know, I don't have any hard feelings about it, but I do, like, I wish that song could have seen the light of day. I don't release it now because I don't want people to be mean to Devi or Rook. But who knows? I might put it on, you know, that collection of super secret rare songs or something that I was talking about. Let's see. What do we got? What do we got? Puppy Da Vinci, yeah. I did make a duct tape dummy. It did get ruined by water. Water flooded the basement at our old place, and the duct tape dummy got ruined. Is my wife intersex? That's a really silly question to ask anybody. I would recommend never asking that question to anyone ever again. I have not listened to Cat Millie. I skateboarding, yes. Do I skateboard? Not actively right now. I skateboarded nearly every fucking day from when I was 5 to when I was 20 years old, and then I started transitioning. And you can't, when you live in Maine, you can't be trans at the skate park. So I stopped skating for a while. Now I do it every once in a while, and I still love it. And it was one of my earliest special interests. I know a fucking ton about skateboarding. I was really connected to like the industry and stuff, like not like career-wise, but like autistic knowledge-wise. I knew everything about what was going on in the skateboarding industry from, you know, when I was like a tween to like when I was 20. I'm super disconnected from all of that now, though. What fandoms am I in? I don't think I'm in any fandoms anymore, but I used to be a huge fucking Homestuck. I cosplayed, before I started transitioning, I cosplayed quote-unquote cross-dressing Dave Strider to my first 2 anime conventions. And I had like a beard and like a skirt, and that's like what the kind of shit that I was on at the time. Do you have any songs you'd say could be specifically considered speedcore? No. I think the fastest song I've ever made is like 255 BPM. I might have made a 300 BPM song or something at one point forever ago, but I don't know. The thing about speedcore is that like I'm on amphetamines all the time. Like medically prescribed amphetamines, but I'm not on that much amphetamines. I'm not on enough amphetamines to make speedcore. I need to be on like a lot more speed to make speedcore. It's really, the act of producing speedcore is incredibly meticulous and fucking annoying, and I like don't have the stamina for it these days. Back in the day, I might have if I was, you know, more interested. What is Goo making a fursuit of? Well, I'm sure that you will see eventually. Let's see. What is my class spect? I'm obviously the muse of time. Did you see my fucking... I have a tattoo, bro. This is the only tattoo that I have, and it's a clock. And it's a clock for reasons. Andrew Hussey was at FC 2020, and he was in the same room with us, and I got married in that room that night. Andrew Hussey, unbeknownst to the man himself, he had no idea that this was happening, but Andrew Hussey accidentally attended my wedding, along with Sonic Fox. I've never talked to either of them, but they were there when I got married. And that's like a fact about my life. A fact about my life, a fact about my wife. Do I have any best or worst con experiences? I can't get into that right now. My best con experience was being on Molly and mushrooms and getting married to my wife in the Adventure Crew room party at this past FC. It was like the most beautiful experience of my entire life. Like, yeah, hands down. Worst con experience? Don't feel like talking about it right now. I found my music like 3 days ago and it's amazing. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you're enjoying watching me eat chicken nuggets. I hope that this is a strong first impression for you. Yeah, if you want to put my tracks on literally any rhythm game, also, or what the fuck ever, like, just fucking do it. Just do it. Please do it. And then, like, link me videos of you playing the song. I would love that. When did me and Goo meet? Me and Goo met when I first moved to Seattle. We lived in a house together for 3 weeks, but didn't really say anything to each other. We started hanging out, like, 2 years ago, around Halloween time. So it's right about, well, or late September, actually. So it's around our 2-year anniversary now. We've been hanging out for a long time. Goo's fucking awesome. I fucking love Goo. Who's my favorite beta troll? Well, back when Homestuck was an active part of my life, I think Nepeta and Urania were my favorites. But it's like, now I gotta, like, I'm sorry, but it's Scamsy. Like, it's Scamsy. What's my favorite decor item in my home? Definitely like all the drawings of my personas and stuff that are like on my walls. Like this whole wall is all just drawings my friends have done of my personas, and I love to look at them all the time. I also have like a big neon happy bunny up there that my wife made to put on the back of my laptop during our scene emo party at our old house, and that was the best. That was one of the best parties I've ever been to. I miss that every day. Am I coming to Furlandia when the apocalypse is over? I don't fucking know. I don't know even what Furlandia is. I'm sure it's a con. Aww, Toby, I love you. If Emma wanted to collaborate with me and create an album, what would I do? Make the album, I guess. that's that, I suppose. I don't think that would ever happen though. She's busy. What's my favorite species of reptile? I don't have any of them memorized. I'm so sorry. Am I vegan or vegetarian? No. I've tried to be vegetarian a couple times, but it hasn't really worked out. I just eat a lot of vegan chicken nuggets because they taste all right and they make my body feel better than regular chicken nuggets. Hush and Goo are definitely a power couple. You're like actually so right. Like we definitely are, and and we know it. Do I still have the Hushy plushie? Yes, I do have the Hushy plushie. Let me see if I can find her. I actually have more than one. I might need to turn the might need to turn the colors on my webcam for this to really get the full effect. And let me get that saturation back up. Okay, cool. There we go. We got color now. So the first Hushy plushie that existed, that has ever existed, was this one. This little bastard right here, the classic maroon hat, the old blue bangs and little overalls. This is a little hand crocheted guy that I was given to by someone at my very first Seattle show, who later I ended up becoming roommates with for a while, and then stopped being roommates with, and I don't think that they like me anymore, but I still have this amazing thing that they made me, and I still hold it very close to my heart to this day. The second Hushy plushie was made by my wife as a present for me, and she's really beautiful. She's like approximately Build-A-Bear size, so Build-A-Bear clothes fit on her, and she's got her floppy little ears and her little mismatched paw pads and her little stupid beady eyes, and she's beautiful. She's my daughter, and yeah. You've probably seen her a time or two on some of my older DJ streams. Let's see. When did I become a furry? I have always been intensely interested in anthropomorphic animals since I was a little child, but didn't really actualize the concept of furries until I was like 13 or 14. And then didn't start sort of thinking of myself as a furry until like around 2000 and like 12 maybe, and it's been downhill ever since. What's the yellow dog with the scene style's name? That is Hushy. She used to be called Four. I'm trying to call her Hushy now because she's me. And I'm Hushy. Will I make more Rat King World Champion? Yeah, I definitely will. It might not be as much punk rock the next time, but I'll definitely make more shit where I am like writing vocals and singing. When I change names, does it mean that I change loops, that you change loops to create new albums? I don't really. I just change my name when I feel like it, because I've been in an identity crisis, an ongoing identity crisis for years. You ever release your own sample packs or stems for others to play with? I've released 2 sample packs in the past. I want to do another one soon because the links to the 2 old ones are broken as fuck now. So I'll do that eventually. There's a couple of my stems floating around out there. Have I considered making ASMR videos? No, I haven't. Have I ever kinned? Yes, I kin constantly. I am constantly seeing little dogs on the TV. Because we have a CRT in our living room and a bunch of VHS tapes. I'm constantly seeing little dogs and going, that's me. And I have a big list of kins, but I'm not like a diehard like kinny part of like kinny communities. But like I see characters and I'm like, that's fucking me. And I feel that right here in my heart very strongly. Have I listened to 100 Gex?
I've listened to Bloodstains, and I've heard Stupid Horse, but that's it. I recently started hanging out with people who really like 100 gex, so I'm sure through osmosis I will end up listening to 100 gex more. I listened to a little bit of Loreless back in the day, and her stuff's always been great. Is there anywhere I can DM you fan art? I don't have a place to post it. You can email me fan art at the number 4 LUNG music@gmail.com. forlungmusic@gmail.com. I will gladly receive it, and I will gladly pee my pants when I see it. Future plans for hairstyles or colors? I'm really enjoying being blonde for now. I'll probably want to be something else eventually, but right now being blonde feels insanely correct. Your mom loves Rat King World Champion. That's great. That makes me so happy. Shouts out to the moms. Oh, you bonded with someone over my music and now they might be your boyfriend? That's great. I'm so happy for you. Congratulations. I'm so happy that I could have been a catalyst in that situation. I do not play Animal Crossing anymore. I'm sorry. That game ruins my life. Not as bad as it ruins my wife's life, though. My wife is super OCD about Animal Crossing. And like, I don't mean that in the sort of like making light of OCD sort of sense. I mean it like in the quite literal sense. You need to show your girlfriend my music, but you don't know which one to start with. Well, I don't know your girlfriend at all, so I don't know her tastes, but if I was going to start with anything, I guess it would maybe be Plurshit, or like if you want to show her something, if she's more into stuff that's more polished, then like maybe like I don't know, this one. Let's see. Release the kin list. Maybe someday. Have I ever played Danganronpa? No. I was like when I was transitioning out of Homestuck, I kind of skirted the edges of the Danganronpa scene for a sec, and then I was like, no, not today. What are some of my kins? Who's that little fucker from Super Monkey Ball? Monkey Ball, Lemur. This is like my newest kin. Yan Yan. This little bastard. She's obviously me, in a number of ways. Webby Vanderquack from DuckTales is akin. Bright Eyes from Pound Puppies. There's a lot. I can't get stuck on this right now. Thoughts on Blady? Never listened to Blady. I've been made outrageously aware of Blady by everybody in my vicinity online talking about Blady all the time, but I just haven't gotten around to listening to Blady. I listen to music recreationally on a very not often basis, which is sad. I wish that I was better about that. Am I puppy? Yes. Do I watch anime? I've been known to watch an anime once in a while. Not lately, but I certainly am a big fan of a few anime. Favorite Lab Fox album? Oh, holy Jesus. Hang on just a sec. My favorite Lab Fox album is this one right here, Trauma Remastered. Yes, I have this CD. It's real, it exists, and it's a real piece of work. This album makes me feel like I am in a like stark white, brightly lit room, and I'm sitting in like a metal folding chair, and the music is a giant like ball of like horrible death scribble in front of me that is like threatening my life, and I cannot take my attention away from it, lest it kill me, and it just like demands my entire like focus. Everything in my periphery is this when I am listening to it, and so this is the stylistic basis for a lot of I guess the foundations of my style, or what my style would eventually become when I started making breakcore or whatever. Yeah, it's, you know. I think that I'm gonna call it good here. Yeah, I'm gonna call this one good. I'm gonna do this again sometime soon. Thank you all so much for hanging out and for enjoying Rawrdcore Rampage. I didn't, when I started doing this, I like didn't think that I could do it. I didn't think I could commit to streaming 3 days in a row, but I did it, and it was really fun, and it turned out great. And I fucking love you guys. Thank you so much for vibing. I love you. Thank you so much for being the plurist ever. Please stay safe, and